Hello world, I go by the name of Joffey Joe, and this is the show. Call it how I see it. And on today's episode, I got a couple of teams I want to talk to y'all about. First and foremost, the Olympics is over, USA showed out, and me and Glenn Pratt are here to talk about the men's team and how they won the gold and their journey to win the gold. Good stuff that you don't want to miss out. And secondly, I got Jan Carlo in the house as we come back this week to talk fantasy football. Yes, we're inching closer and closer to the starting line. But as the NFL season is about to come up, that means there's a lot of fantasy drafts that are about to go down. So, me and Jan Carlo, we dissect into this year's fantasy prospects and what to expect moving forward. So, you don't want to miss out on this action-packed episode. And we're back. Yes, here we go. What's up, Glenn? It's nice to have you back in the house. How you making out today, my friend?
Yo, Joffey, you know how it is. I hear from Joffey, and it's time to call it how I see it.
Yes.
Feeling good. Let's get it in, man.
Let's get it in. So, G, the Olympics is over, and, USA stepped out, and what we're here to talk about is we're going to have our victory lap with the USA basketball team. So, our guys ended up picking up the gold, ended up snatching it away from France, which turned out to be somewhat of a game, but, USA showed out when they needed to show out. But, overall, I wanted to dive in and, talk about this little run that they had. Definitely a historical moment for this country moving forward, and this program moving forward too. But I just want to get some of your ideas. What do you think about their what do you think about their performance this entire Olympic run?
I think it was one of a gradual incline. What you got to do in a tournament like this, you're not going to have your best from the right from the door. I didn't think it was going to be that way because those guys just got together. Were they together a month maybe? I think they were saying weren't together that long, so I didn't expect it to be that fluid right from the door. So there was going to be some growing and some getting used to each other. I knew that was going to happen.
Right.
But they got 2-3 starting teams on one team. Let's be real. I mean,
Yo, crazy.
Right? So when you look at it like that, I know other teams are getting better. I know they say they're catching up. Not deep enough.
No.
This team, right? I mean, that's the difference, man. You just keep sending in waves. And like you said, we're going to get to the misusage of my man, but hey, listen, you're sending waves of people, man.
No, for sure.
I guess the powers to be thought that what they needed was on the court, and they used what guys they thought they needed. They got it done at the end of the day, right?
Yes. At the end of the day, we were able to get it done, finish the job, finish the mission, and grab the gold and bring it back home where it belongs. But that's back to what you're saying, G. If we look at this roster, bro, almost everybody's got at least $100 million contract, right? Am I wrong? At least somebody's getting paid $50 million, $40 million.
Right.
These are the best of the best. And these guys, yes, they've merited these contracts, they've earned them. But to see where these guys are and, to even match up against competition the way they did in this entire run, it's been really incredible to watch. But given I did want to shed light to that too, I think the competition in today's international game, even Olympic stage or even in the FIBA Cup, is definitely noticeably a lot better. For these USA teams, blowouts maybe isn't the thing. It's more competitive ball. Yes, given the rules are different somewhat to the NBA game, but what do you think about the rest of the world catching up to the USA?
There's definitely going to be advancements. You're going to have great teams. I just don't think they'll ever really be able to compete with the best USA squad. I just don't see them ever. I don't want to go out on a limb and say, I don't want to go too far out there and say that they're unbeatable, but I think over the long haul, I just don't see another team. I don't know what they put 12, 15 guys on a team.
15.
What most of these teams, 2-3 players at the most, maybe.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes to the depth, I just don't see any other country having that. No matter how good their top guys are,
right.
And I'll give them credit to have, Jokic and Bogdanovich. They got a couple guys,
right, like Serbia.
A couple serious players, but not deep enough.
No, I agree.
And waves, man, waves. Think about it.
Hit him with the waves, Glenn.
You know what I mean?
But no, you're right. It's a lot. Even the Serbia matchup, right? We go back to that and just how USA played them in a practice game and then they essentially played them twice, and then having the last game where they had to fight back and win. For a team like Serbia, they're depth-wise, you're talking about, they're not going to match up to a team like the USA. Not even complete any day of the week. But when they play their best game and they throw off the USA and they can have Jokic, dominate and facilitate, and get ahead, that was the only way that Serbia was going to beat USA. And, looking at everything now, I think Serbia was USA's biggest challenge just because of Jokic and the other factors involved, and that's why they were able to almost, pull away with that win. But then they got hit with the big storm of Steph Curry and freaking Joel Embiid, and, but that's what I'm saying. Like the potential and the talent level of the USA can just get plucked out at any time. All they need is a good run, especially in today's basketball and how things go. It's just like a run like that can just snatch the momentum and pull a team ahead and win the game outright. And USA was able to do that. But I have to give Serbia a lot of credit because that was really like the only type of game that they're going to be able to beat the USA was be able to get ahead, play mistake-free basketball. But talent oversaw everything, and then just they got hit with the wave, Glenn, a big wave of talent.
Just like in the NBA, just when we're watching NBA games, when a team gets hot from three, it just changes things.
It does.
Serbia was hitting some threes.
Yeah.
It made things a little bit more difficult. It made for them to have to climb back into it. I mean, Serbia hitting them threes, man. That's the equalizer. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, you had Bogdanovic putting up the three, and then they throwing out the mellow screen and everything. I think some USA players took a little heat to that, and then they came back storming. But that's all good competition in nature, though, and that's what brings the best out of these competitors, and that's why we enjoy watching it.
Absolutely.
So one thing I did want to shed light on was who they crowned as the MVP of the Olympics in this basketball tournament. I mean, throughout the whole tournament, we can say LeBron has been the most consistent. Which I think a lot of people can agree with, and that's probably why he won.
Absolutely.
Doing the dirty work, doing the triple doubles and everything. But in light of how the NBA not the NBA, but basketball, in terms of how we soak it in and watch it, we want to see the scoring and we want to see the big impact moments. And there's no denying that Steph Curry really had some big impact moments. Even being the closer in most of these games, like in 2 of the games where they had to need it, he was the one hitting the shots and making everything happen, putting up over 30 points. So there's a lot to go on. KD had great games. As a collective effort, there's a lot of people you could point the finger and be like, yeah, maybe he was the MVP. But I think the big uproar here is between LeBron and Steph, and who is the real Captain America. So, what was your thinking? What was your view on how they kind of crowned LeBron on this?
Well, Steph with those two games closed, and that put the recency of that in our minds.
Yes.
I think LeBron throughout the whole thing. Not that Curry wasn't good. I just think LeBron was the steady one, the one who kept everything in line. I mean, you could have went Curry. If you went Curry, I think everybody would have been okay with it. Because, like I said, we got caught up in the last 2 games. He was just toying with France. At the end there, that just got to be. I was like, oh my God. You know what? It's so funny. When you see stuff on SportsCenter, you see stuff in highlights. It's just different when you witness it. I love witnessing stuff when it happens. Witnessing that, man, was just insane. I mean, seriously.
He had 3 arms in his face and then pow, just like a total splash.
All you just kept hearing was,
good night.
It was just,
good night. It was a great moment. Yes, it was a great moment. And then for him, that was his first gold medal since he skipped out on some of the other teams because of his past with injuries and stuff like that. So for Steph, that's big, man. And honestly, at the end of the day, Steph doesn't care about that. He's not one to fight for finals MVPs or the MVP of the Olympics. At the end of the day, Steph is a winner, and he wants to do whatever it takes to win. Whatever he can use his skill set to help his team win, he's going to do it. Everything else will come after it. If he gets the MVP, so be it, and if not, so be it. But at the end of the day, he's a winner, and in the big moment like this shows. And hopefully, some of this younger group that's going to be in the next Olympics can, pick up and absorb a lot of this quality and skills. To have these 3 guys Bron, Durant, and Steph, these are great leaders, and Anthony Edwards paying homage to all these guys, calling them the big dogs and everything. They really look up to these guys, and these guys they had that Bird, Magic, and Jordan era back in the old times, helping getting these guys and showing how these guys how to win and stuff. And these guys will pick that up and moving forward. So, speaking of winners, Jay, I wanted to talk about how Steve Kerr used your boy, Jason Tatum, in the Olympics. Well, what's your view on that?
I don't know what to say. They're in practice there. You get to see them in times and in situations we don't get to see. So, I guess, depending on the matchup, Kerr felt as though the teams he was putting out there matched up against. I just find it hard to believe that you look down the bench and put Derek White in and you don't put in Tatum. But, hey, man, that's why Steve Kerr's the man.
Yeah.
They brought the gold home. Hard to question it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I going forward, I think Tatum, Edwards, those guys will be the ones setting the tone going forward. You know what I mean? But
for sure.
I didn't like the use. I'm a big Tatum guy, and I think he got a little.
He got hosed, man.
He got hosed.
For
whatever reason, I don't know.
I was reading articles, maybe possibly defensive adjustments and stuff that Steve Kerr. Yeah, that's what I was reading a little bit of articles about. And I think it was a CBS article I was reading in terms of his defensive adjustments to what Steve Kerr was trying to have him do. But at the end of the day, I think not even think that those are things that you can muster around. But at the end of the day, we know him as a world class talent, and at the end of the day, I think that he can step up and prove himself, especially on a defensive aspect. I didn't really see him struggling much, but that's maybe something he saw or something he saw in practice that I just don't understand really. But it's Jason Tatum, bro. We're talking about all pro. He said it. He laid out his whole resume, and he's still But he also did this with Joel. So in the one game, so it's having all these guys, Glenn. I guess it's kind of hard. And it's just like,
you got a roster like that, I guess.
Right.
You're going to have somebody not playing as much as others, but
right.
I just find it hard to believe that he looks down the bench and puts Derek White in. I don't mind Derek White. Good player.
Right.
And I consider him a good role player.
Yes.
To me, Jason Tatum's an impactful. That's my opinion, but Steve Kerr makes the big bucks. He got to make the decisions, and you can't really say he did anything wrong. I guess it's hard to argue.
I agree.
Anything wrong?
I agree. And even think about it, like how Derek White came on the team. If Kawhi was on his team, like what does that mean? Like, I mean, like you essentially kind of replaced Kawhi with another different position. So like, where would Tatum even been in this fold if Kawhi stayed? Or like how? I mean, there's a lot of if and ends in there. So I don't know if like constructing the roster initially was probably like maybe he just like went down the list and see who would actually join the team. But like, so I guess, and then after he got everything assembled, he just kind of chose this route, or matchup wise or something, or I don't know. But
Tatum doesn't get minutes in games.
Yeah, I
find that hard to believe. But
outrageous.
Hey, Steve, that's why you're the man.
Yeah,
all right, Steve.
And that's a good question. I also want to bring to like, moving forward. Yes, Steve Kerr got the ring. Got the medal. Not, But yeah, so after his fiasco at the FIBA Cup, he was able to get the gold here, and then there's nothing official yet, but there's still rumblings about him, stepping down and how things will be moving forward in 4 years. It's going to be interesting to see how, what USA is going to do. I mean, there's still great coaches out there, so I mean,
Spoelstra,
I think so too.
You got guys out there.
You have coaches available, and them being on this staff moving forward too helps for sure. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that moving forward, and I'm excited to see this team in the 28 Olympics. We'll see players like Paolo Banchero, even Duke Cooper Flag will probably be there. Like, there's gonna be a lot of interesting talent, and given the way this team is structured, maybe we'll see how they mold all this together in the team moving forward and how they defend the gold. And so G, finally, I just wanted to dive in and think what an all-time great Olympic team, like where would you kind of put these guys at?
Put them real close to the top. I guess you really can't exclude any team with Jordan, Bird, Magic. And,
I know.
I mean, I guess you got to put that team as definitely the supreme, right?
Yes.
But this team right there, man, I mean,
for sure.
You could put them up against any of the teams we've had. I mean, you're talking about guys, I guess you want to say if they're not in their prime, they're really, because I'm talking about this with Bird, how Bird was pretty much done at that point. That's when they were making it seem.
Right.
But the fact he was just there made a big difference. And I think, this team right there ranks very high, but you can put them right up there.
For sure.
Top 2, 3. I mean, right there with any team, I would definitely list them as.
I agree with you. I definitely think they're a top 3 team. I mean, like, as LeBron was being interviewed, and he didn't want to. He's like, "What did you want to call this team?" Like the Avengers. So like, it's a cool name. It's a kind of a creative name. I mean, especially since like a lot of these guys, we kind of look at them like they're superheroes, like with their talents and skills. So like to see where they are, I think that's a good name for them personally. But I mean, I think overall to wrap this up, to watch this team, it's good to see them win the gold. The competition is definitely better, so I give them that edge too. And compared to the Dream Team or even the Redeem Team, I would kind of maybe put them at like third, like just given like everything top to bottom, coaching too. So this team though is definitely a historic and admirable team that we rally behind. There's no doubt in your mind, Glenn, that this was going to happen. They're going to be biting the gold medal and everything.
Confident.
Yes,
like I said, they come at them in waves. They got you. I understand the progression of the game worldwide.
Yes.
But here,
it's USA, baby. We're the Mecca. We made this game, bro. We're gonna win this shit. It's
you
like
got 2-3 starting teams on one. I mean, you can put any 5 out there, and they could start. And so, I really didn't have an issue or think they were going to lose at any point. But is it going to be as easy? No.
No.
But at the end of the day, they just got too much.
Right, and that's the part of the challenge that they, that's why they go out there and play the game. You know what I mean? They're there to be tested and everything. But G, I appreciate you coming on, my friend.
What? Man, come on, Joffey. I have to call it how I see it. Always good to hear from you, my man.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and until next time.
Be safe, Joffey.
You too, my friend. And we're back. Yes. And look who we have back. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Jan Carlo in the house. How's it going, my boy?
Not much. Just enjoying a vacation, brother.
Shit, man, I need me one of those. I need me one of those, man. Even if it's a staycation, whatever, I need me one of those. I need to, adjust my schedule accordingly. But Jay, mind you, everything football is slowly approaching. We're inching towards the starting line, inching it. But as we are, big football junkies, I wanted to talk about some fantasy football. Yes, and what to expect this year. So, Jay, mind you, we have a big lineup coming up. Some, new rookies, new players in new places. A lot going on. So, what do you expect from this year's fantasy season?
Expect another pass-happy season,
Okay.
Fantasy, expect a bunch of receivers to go very early.
Right.
I've also noticed in my studies there's some very good running backs going late.
Okay.
It is something to take note of.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. Depending on which league you're in, everybody runs different leagues, have different rules and different stipulations as well. But for the most common leagues that we all, partake in, we are all in PPR leagues where, points per reception matter. And, if you have a dual threat running back, that definitely helps. Or if you have a pass catching number one or even number two receiver or even a tight end, this helps in this aspect for, each point and each reception matters. So, mind you, I did want to dive into one thing first. What site do you like to use, Jay? Like, out of all these sites that they have, which one's your favorite one to use?
I am an ESPN guy because you get a little more customization freedom with your leagues.
Very true. I like ESPN.
For example, I do a top 5 bottom 5 in one of my leagues. I'm getting ready to implement it in another. But it's just the option of having it. Not everybody uses it, but the option.
Right. No, that's a good feature to have. I know CBS doesn't have anything like that. I'm in my one league where they have CBS. I think I have CBS and ESPN like brewing neck and neck. Maybe because I'm just like so used to using them both. I definitely like CBS's draft room, how they break things down, the lists and stuff.
They're very detailed.
Rankings, very detailed. You have a lot of description with each player and like their situation, the quarterbacks or whatever type of position player they are, and injury past. There's a lot to it. They're very sophisticated detail that I enjoy looking at when I'm looking at players to add to my team. I like ESPN. I like the rapid pace of their draft. I know some drafts for me have been a little difficult because of my work schedule, but I know that, for the most part, that these drafts, like, where I'm not able to really give my, full attention to, especially in the later rounds, ESPN's been very good with helping me pick out a team, and I really appreciate that, too, in terms of the auto draft and other things like that, and the good features that ESPN has. So I'm on the fence with both. I use both. I'm going to be using both. I'm not using Yahoo. I remember the one time I ran a league. It was a fiasco. It was like a $100 league for 10 people, and I forget, it was like StatMaster. It was some bullshit ass site for free, trying to get over not paying for subscriptions when, that's really the way to go. Young, not understanding how to run a league, a very, very horrible commissioner, so, and then on top of that, 3 of the guys didn't even pay. So yeah, I was that commissioner. So personally for me, I had to take myself and, relieve myself of duties of running a league anymore. So no more free leagues anymore. So, but in terms of sites and everything, I definitely think these two are the top of the echelon. People still use Yahoo and other stuff and NFL.com and stuff, but when it comes to it, these two are the best, I think, for sure.
Yeah, they're the upper echelon. CBS, you do have to pay, but you're getting what you pay for.
No, for sure. I absolutely agree. So, one thing I do want to bring up, when do you think is the best time to have a fantasy draft? Like, there's a lot of mixed feelings. Some people want to say, right before the season starts, like right before that Thursday night game, or even like a couple weeks in advance, because some people get so much anxiety and they want to just jump right to it and get their team together. What do you think?
I like to do it the week before Labor Day so no work schedules are interrupted.
Right. I agree with that too.
I have one this Sunday, but it's due to travel because we have people coming from out of state.
Right.
But for me to avoid injury, contract holdouts, the closer to Labor Day, the better.
No, I agree. Especially with the injury factors and everything involved, like no one likes to pick a player and have their player get injured like 2 days later in practice or in a preseason game where really nothing really matters. That is just like, I can't name how many times that's happened to people over time, but that's the one edge of having a draft so early. But also, like, the advantages of having a draft early too is like in terms of scheduling and time clutter and everything. It's hard as we grow older as adults to all gather together. If you are gathering together, have one draft and punch it out on one night, or having like a mobile draft where anyone can just pick at any time when that works for them. Which I'm in one right now in my CBS league. It's pretty frugal. Like when we can make our pick, we make it. Hopefully, there's people that don't take hours among hours of making that pick. That's brutal. I've been that guy a couple times. I can't lie, but learning how to do drafts more in the future. I've been a lot better. So that's a lot to it too. But definitely a fun time to be rejoicing. So in my draft that I do have coming up, I have the second pick, And given it is PPR league, and given that Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey are basically the top 1A, 1B of any draft, I would say moving forward. If you were in a situation like myself, Jay, who would you want to take with the second pick? Given a hypothetical that Christian McCaffrey was the number 1 overall pick.
I'll give it to you pretty simple. It's Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb are in contract disputes.
Yes.
We don't know when they're going to show up.
Yes.
Brees Hall has that little bit of injury factor.
Such a
and
question
Bijan
mark.
Robinson, to me, is unproven.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, without Art Smith there, I think there's a lot of promise for his season there. I think the Falcons are really ready to blow up, honestly. I mean, also with Kirk Cousins, his years with, Dalvin Cook and everything, like, he's had a great, successful running back by his side, and his numbers were able to prove to be very good, which, might not be a bad pick later on in the draft for Cousins, just saying. If he can stay healthy.
It's dangerous. You want to see how he comes back from that Achilles.
Yes, that's true. I mean,
his age, 35 or 36.
Yes. I mean,
you don't know if he's going to be the same.
Right. I mean, we do know that his bag is still going to be the same, if not better. But, I mean, you still have that young quarterback in the wings, so maybe they might, spark a fire and make him play good. I got still something to prove here, you know what I mean? Maybe they'll start bringing the chains out. I don't know. Just a hypothetical in terms of quarterbacks that might be worth the value later on in the draft. But back to Bijan, I mean, Bijan is a special talent. When I look at Bijan, I almost see him as like a level of Saquon type of talent, just in terms of all complete back, in terms of like physicality, feature, and everything. He is the ideal feature. And like we looked at him last year, there's definitely been spurts of him looking great. I mean, we saw the genius and talent of Bijan Robinson. So in a PPR league, I think he could be very valuable. I mean, there is still Tyler Algier there too, who's a great running back. Well, I think could be a starter in some teams, but
Some teams, yeah.
But I think Atlanta's definitely a sleeper team. I definitely think definitely gonna look at if I see any of their players on their offensive side come up. I mean, definitely might take a flyer on them. So we'll see with that. Yeah, I mean that's just excitement, bro. Excitement. Fantasy's here. It's
Yeah,
here.
I'm ready.
Even though we're microscoping the freaking Atlanta Falcons here, it's I'm happy about it. But I think if given 1A or 1B, I'm taking if McCaffrey's there, I'll take McCaffrey. If Tyreek Hill is there, I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill. So
right. If CeeDee Lamb didn't have a contract situation, that's my argument.
No, I agree 1,000%. I mean. And if we actually look down at the numbers from the Dallas Cowboys offense last year, Brandon Cooks only had like 600 yards receiving, which is not really good for a number 2 receiver. So like we could tell that most of the targets and most of the passing was going to CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson had a big year. I mean, he's a great red zone
threat. I think he's only going to get better.
I agree. I mean, those Wisconsin tight ends, bro. Those Big Ten tight ends, man, they end up coming through. They're just a different breed of tight end. So, one thing I wanted to bring to light. So say you're having a bad year, right? Hypothetical. What does your record have to be, or how many games in a row? Or weeks in a row do you have to lose to just give up on your season?
None, because
that's dedication.
I play in a league where there is a last place punishment.
Oh shit! Okay.
And
that's
due to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase doing me dirty last year, yours truly, will be singing the anthem this Sunday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is one of the. In this league, we have to pay for the winner's name to be engraved on a trophy.
Okay.
And you must sing the anthem.
So like national anthem, you have to
before
your draft starts.
All over Snapchat, Instagram Live, I'm going viral.
Okay, I can dig it. That's a fun stipulation. Okay.
We've also been together, like this group that I have, we've been together for over 10 years.
All right, so that makes it more fun. You guys know each other. I've been in one league since my days in it. I'll get probably 7 years now. I won the league twice. Okay. And yeah, it's been fun. I'm in my other boys league, one of my best friends. That's the ESPN league. This is his 4th year running it. I did win the league once, came in second twice. It's funny because back to like those ESPN drafts I was talking about, the one draft I was working at night, so I had my team just auto drafted and I ended up winning the league. So sometimes that can help. Sometimes that can help. Don't recommend it, but because you might end up with things you don't want, including injured players. But that's an obstacle you can take if you want to take that type of chance or gamble. But dude, I'm really excited.
I'm ready. I'm excited for this one. I mean, I have one for work, but I'm in charge of that. I'm probably going to. We're going to do an online ESPN draft. Yeah. Probably September 3rd-ish.
Okay.
And because it's an online draft. That draft will be done in an hour and a half.
Right.
Tops.
Right.
So I'm ready for that, but singing the anthem, I'm not looking forward.
Hopefully you don't sound like. Hopefully you're not as bad as freaking Fergie from from the All-Star game.
No, I'm aiming for the home run derby.
Home run derby. Oh, that's even bad. That's even worse. Even more worse. Even worse. You might check yourself into rehab like that poor girl.
Yeah, I might need a new liver after that one anyway. It's going to be all right.
That's funny. So real quick, I wanted to throw in maybe who would you take as a sleeper maybe in the later rounds?
Like how late are we talking?
Any league.
You want to hear some disrespect?
Yes, I'm all for
Alvin Kamara.
Oh wow, that's
people are disrespecting him. I'm not doing mock drafts or anything. I just looking at how long him going in like 5th, 6th round. No.
That's crazy to think, isn't it? isn't it?
No.
I mean, just
don't
don't
let him fall to me.
I think last year he just had some turmoil with this whole situation, being suspended, and then ended up having injuries later on. But like in terms of running, he doesn't pick up yards like he used to. But in terms of flexibility, he is the dual threat, and he's still a weapon, no doubt about it. Anytime that guy's on the field, he needs to pay attention. So Alvin Kamara is definitely a good choice.
But I have one more.
I'm all yours.
JSN, Jackson Smith
and Jigba. I was thinking the same thing too. I think he's going to take the initiative to even start propelling above Tyler Lockett. He'll be, Metcalf is no doubtedly their number one, but in terms of their second tier, I think Smith and Jigba could definitely have a big year.
Well, I heard he's going in the slot this year, so that should play dividends.
I mean, he's a burner, bro. I mean, we've seen what he's done in Ohio State in terms of just burning people even when he was a freshman. So he was definitely a merited number one first round pick. Excuse me, but his talent, and he made some plays last year too, and then more chemistry with Geno Smith and everything. It will pay dividends. I don't know with a new coach. I don't know where that team's going to head into direction. So it's going to be interesting. But if they still have that same offense intact with Kenneth Walker still, I think he's still a great back. And if he can stay healthy, that team on offense can still put up points. And if they can play the clamp defense that McDonald's trying to bring from Baltimore over there, I think Seattle could be a formidable team moving forward too. So we'll see. In terms of sleepers for me, man. I'm still on the fence. I like Shakir from Buffalo. I feel like he's going to end up being their number one receiver, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, basically, he's part of the reason why Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore, honestly. I mean, he took so many targets from him, especially in the playoff run. He wasn't the one that dropped the ball. And if anything, in that playoff game, he helped keep them alive. So I think he scored 2 touchdowns or 1 touchdown, but he definitely had a lot of chain-moving plays there. So I think Shakir's a big pick to watch out for. I think he's really going to blossom into a number one receiver because anything's open up there. Dude, you got Mac Hollins running out there, so anything can happen.
No, the man that trains in no cleats, my man.
It's crazy to see that. I'm glad to see, as Eagles fans, it's still cool to see him, running around and doing his thing in the league, even when he's yelling at Desmond Ridder on the sideline.
I love it.
Yes. But Jay, I appreciate you hopping on and talking some fantasy football with me.
I appreciate it. I will not upload the video of me singing the anthems, but I will be ready to discuss draft results whenever you're ready.
All right, bet. Keep me updated. I'm definitely interested to hear.
All right. Got you, buddy.
All right. Peace out. Enjoy your day.